CNN before war between Israel and Hamas took over attention of international community. Russia's invasion of Ukraine was trying to solve most urgent crisis. Diplomats in Brussels this week was planned as a major moment Euphraim's Ukraine, because EU member states are more financing final council summit of year. Both more financing KIV and finally opening negotiations Ukraine membership. All of these were questioned by a member state Hungary. Hungary's populist Prime Minister Viktor Orban has been the #1 responsible child of Western Europe for a while. Even before war in Ukraine, Hungary was formed keep rest of EU as ransom. This means that each member state has veto in which each member state can use prevent basic EU policy, such as sending billions of euros country where war breaks down or allowing country prevent club. Theoretically, this veto should only be used if only one member state has a real objection to the flagship EU policy. But it is increasingly used to get what political leaders want in other fields, to ensure the release of central EU funds hidden from Hungary by Brussels for various indecisions. EU diplomats and officials seem be this week to negotiate release frozen billions euros due concerns corruption and rule law at the beginning week. It is possible that this problem will be solved some extent and will end week at a press conference celebrating EU's support to Ukraine and way join bloc. But for some Ukrainian and Western officials working closely with Kiev, the latest evidence that what they fear the most is finally realized: Ukrainian fatigue. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky's senior advisor CNN. Because Ukraine's joining EU directly depends on NATO membership in eyes of NATO. Any hesitation from European allies. Bad signals to encourage Russia, he said. A senior NATO official who works directly with Ukraine told CNN that this is part of a longer-term tendency for the worst result focusing on Western Ukraine. For more evidence of this, you need to look at the discussions that took place only in Washington about the financing for Ukraine. You should just imagine how these discussions will develop in the upcoming presidential election year. At end of the week, EU will undoubtedly have a positive thing to say about Ukraine. Para will be sent. Speeches about participation will continue. Of course, the EU would resist the allegations of fatigue of Ukraine by saying how much money and help they have sent Kiev. But even in Europe, it is difficult to escape from the feeling that once the priority has lost their interest, and even Europeans are interested in a land war in their own continents. What should the rest of the world think?